Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Made in 3D Seed the Future Entrepreneurs program. Today is our first session in the series, that is, What is a Startup? To deliver this session, we have with us Mr. Ankit Kade, who is the founder and partner at Green Leafy Organization. Ankit is an entrepreneur with over 6 years of professional experience, which includes building and scaling businesses from scratch. As mentioned earlier, he is a founder and partner at Green Leafy, which is a successful venture supplying fresh produce to the hotels, restaurants, and catering sector. Formerly, he was a management consultant with experience serving in Fortune 500 companies, working on client projects to drive impactful business transformations. He has a proven track record in business development, supply chain management, operations, and strategy planning, with a focus on driving profitability from the ground up. He is a distinguished Toastmaster, that is the highest educational recognition in Toastmasters International for excellence in communication and leadership. He has also founded the Baudhan Toastmasters Club, which is a community dedicated to empowering individuals to enhance their communication and leadership skills. Thank you very much for accepting our offer to deliver this session, Ankit. I hand over the stage to you.
Thank you for that introduction and opportunity. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Can you see me? Chat is anybody? All right. Now that you are already, Shreyas has briefed you about me. Let me tell you a bit about why today I am here and what is it that inspires me to be amongst you to deliver a session on what is startup. While I was a kid, I always wanted to start something of my own. I was always curious about different things. However, what had stopped me that time was I thought I should grow up so that I can start something on my own. Maybe complete education, take a job, and then dwell into entrepreneurship. I did that. I followed the conventional path, with, which most of us have followed to reach here. However, if someone would have told me that time, Ankit, you don't need to wait to grow up completely to start something of your own. Probably I would have ended up doing less mistakes and saving a lot of time. All of you must have heard that with money you can buy anything, but time. Time is very important, especially when you're working on startup. So today, what a learning I had in this entrepreneurial journey, uh, I will be sharing that with you so that when you are starting on your own, you might save up a lot of time and also may not do a mistakes that I have done. So are we ready? So now you already know about myself. So why don't you introduce yourself with your name, place you're joining from, or maybe a standard. So you can type it down in the chat box or in the Q&A bar which will be showing on the screen. I hope all of you are attentive and over there and typing in your response.
We have people from Akshara International School, we have people from Uttarakhand, we have people from Wisdom World Pune, we have students from DAV Public School Gurugram, we have people joining from Hadapsar Pune, we have people from 8th grade, people from 9th grade, people from 10th grade. We have students joining from Osmanabad, Hyderabad, Coimbatore, Jaipur. So we have got many responses till now.
Wow, looks like everyone is present and are attentive in the session. So, guys, today in the session, it's not that just I am going to be talking and delivering the session. I would also include you in the session so that we can make it interactive and fun activity for next 1.5 hour. So, are we ready? You can just type in yes in the Q&A. All right. So, what is this word? Startup. You might have heard it again and again, but few of you may know it already, and few of you may not. But don't worry, today I am going to help you understand what this word exactly means. Before proceeding ahead, I would like to know how many of you watch Shark Tank? Do you watch Shark Tank, guys? Shark Tank India? You can raise your hand. Are we getting raise of hands?
Yes, we have more than 40, 50, 50, more than 50 raise of hands. Right now.
Wonderful. So in Shark Tank, you may have seen a lot of people coming over there on the stage and telling them, telling sharks about their business in return of funding, right? So you may have come across startups from various industries. At the same time, you may have also seen sharks interacting with them with the questions that might help in the business, right? So there are various sharks. So can you quickly type in the Q&A who is your favorite shark and why? So if I have to name the shark, who are the shark, right? Someone who have become successful in their entrepreneurship journey and have reached certain stage, and now they are helping others to uh, to climb that ladder of entrepreneurship and become successful. These people are chosen to be shark in the Shark Tank. And I hope that we are already seeing a lot of responses in the chat box.
Yes, we have multiple responses. People vouching for Aman Gupta, Ashnir Grover, Vinita, Namita Thapar, Piyush Bansal.
Right, that means you didn't just raise the hand, you already know about the program, what Shark Tank is. And you're already your own favorite shark because they have inspired you in some way or the other. Maybe their questions or the work that they have done, or probably a company that they have established from start. So, what is a startup? Startup is a new company which is focused on solving a specific problem, but not in a traditional way, by tweaking the traditional way and finding an innovative solution to it. Generally, the startups uh, are created with the help of technology because with technology we can do a whole bunch of things with very limited resources and very limited time. That is what a formal definition of startup could be. Generally, it is something which starts small, it involves a lot of risk and aims for rapid growth. So let me explain this to you. Suppose someone of you today have some idea that probably you want to manufacture a study table which will ensure that irrespective of height of the students, everyone will be able to study. So what you will do is you will start with an idea, probably just one of you. Then what you will do is you will share this idea with someone, maybe from your friends. You will see if this idea resonates with them. And after that, you'll try to find whether there is someone who is willing to buy that table or whether there is a need of it. Probably right now you are just two and three people in this business. However, when your idea is validated, more and more people will start buying tables from you. Now, just three of you cannot serve all the growing needs of the business. Now you start hiring team. You start hiring more and more people, and just from startup, you start becoming a company. Why? Because the product that you have created has a demand in the market. And that is how your startup is becoming a company. Now, what happens is you suddenly feel that you want to grow exponentially, right? But maybe you do not have enough funds to grow, maybe to grow beyond India. In that case, maybe you reach out to your relatives or parents that you need some more money, which you can put in the business so that you can grow it. You get money from them, maybe in exchange of uh, some profit, or that money can be given as a loan to you in your business, and that is how your company starts growing. Maybe you started with just a table. Over the period of time, you thought that you wanted to add more products, which more innovative products, which will help you to get more and more business. What happens? You started just with an idea, just with one product, but over the period of time, what you realized that there is a demand of such product, your brand is already created, and now if you add more products to it, it will be easy for you to sell it. That is how a startup grows and grows and grows and becomes a company. We'll talk more about how we should build a startup, what are the steps that are involved into it, how you can get that, that perk of becoming an entrepreneur and can earn exponentially with the startup in the coming slides over here. Till now, do we have any doubts? If yes, I would request you to please note down your questions. We are going to have a separate Q&A session towards the end of this session. Next. So many of you may have heard that what is a startup and business. Most of the time we have this confusion about startup and business, startup and business. Many of the founders even think that they are in the startup, but eventually what they are into is not a startup, but in the business. I'll just quickly help you to understand what is a startup and business. So generally, startup is something which focuses on on some niche area. Probably there is some problem which everyone is experiencing, and then they try to solve that problem with some kind of innovation. Maybe some technology, with the help of some technology, or some unconventional ways through which the problem can be solved. That is what the startup is. They do not have much of funds, they do not have much of resources, still they try to solve a problem. I have already explained what startup is. If I have to give you an example, Zepto or Blinkit is one such example which is trying to solve problem of delivering groceries within 10 to 15 minutes, right? On the other hand, if we talk about business, what business is about? It is table. Just take an example of the traditional grocery store or kirana store that all of us are aware. So getting into this business is pretty easy because you already know the demand of the business. What you need is just a market research of how many residents are there and what they are going to buy in day-to-day life. You already have people who will help you setting up a business, and in the long run, it will be a profitable business. Just that initially there will be a lot of investment so that you can I have a place where you can set up a store, maybe buy some inventory, and then once customer starts getting up, the money also starts flowing, and in the long run, the demand is pretty much same. Because uh, why we are talking about the stable and long term business, because it is not you who would be doing this for the first time. There are many individuals who have started these grocery stores because of their experience. They have market has already understood how it function, so it becomes very easy to be in the business which someone has already established, probably at some different place, but someone has already been into this business, burned their hands, maybe documented their learning, and so that everyone can follow who is going there. Next. If you compare both of this Zepto or Blinkit compared with the traditional Kirana store can serve population within this one one specific vicinity. However, if you think about Zepto and Blinkit, what these guys have done, these guys have just solved a problem of quick delivery, quickly delivering the groceries, and they have solved the problem, come up with the solution. Then what they have done is they have focused on building a brand. Now, one kirana owner can have 2, 3, 4, 5 shops, but Zepto and Blinkit are having presence all across the city. Now they are present in Bangalore, Mumbai, even in Pune and some of the tier 2, tier 3 cities. They are going to capture very soon. Think about 2 or 4 kirana stores owned by one person or company which is delivering across the city. Think about the population, guys, what these guys are going to address. That is the basic difference between startup and business. Business is traditional, someone has already been into the business, and there is nothing new probably that they are trying to do. However, in the startup, the market is completely unexplored. Someone is trying to solve problem with the help of technology, which will help them to quickly solve it and scale it to the next level, so that more and more people more and more consumers can be served with the business. Can we have the next slide, please? Now we have learned about a startup and also about the business. Now, who is it? Who is that person who is an entrepreneur? So, entrepreneur is someone who identifies that there is some kind of problem, and if I take an initiative to solve it, probably I can build a business on it. So that is what we call as an entrepreneur. He's someone who is willing to take risks to turn ideas into reality. And it is not just an idea, but that idea should be creating value for others. Let me give you another example, right? So what generally happens is we are always told to find a solution, maybe in the projects that you must be doing in your schools, right? Some kind of problem, and you are given a problem statement that probably you will be working in the groups and coming up with some solution and then presenting it. However, we may not be taught about thinking from the business angle to that project, how we can give a business perspective to that particular problem, and that problem can help solve a real world's problem. If you are able to think from a business perspective, if you are able to give the monetary or financial angle to the problem that you are going to solve in the projects, maybe you can be called as an entrepreneur, right? Because you are not just solving a problem, you are solving a problem and getting something as in exchange of that problem, which is of the solution that you are doing. So he is someone who is an entrepreneur. Now, when I say about entrepreneur, I'm sure that a lot of people that may be coming to your mind while you are already seeing on the screen. Who is that person? Can you recognize? You can type it in the question and answer.
We have more than 20 answers.
Okay. So now another activity for you guys. So you have already recognized this person on the screen who is Elon Musk. I would also want you to name at least three companies that he has started. There are many companies which he has started, but name at least three in the chat box. Are we getting responses?
Yes, so we have received SpaceX, Tesla, The Boring Company, Starlink, Neuralink, PayPal.
All right. You guys are already following giants in the world of entrepreneurship. And he is one such guy. PayPal, which changed the way the payments can be done. Then SpaceX, which is in the space industry. Then Tesla, of course, the torchbearer in the EV electric vehicles, right? And many such problems that this guy is trying to solve and creating a business out of it. That is what we call as true entrepreneur. There are many such examples, of course, Steve Jobs, then of course the Shark Tanks, the sharks in Shark Tank, you guys have already mentioned. These guys have truly identified a problem, then tried to apply a technology to it and took it to the next level so that more and more consumers or more and more people can take advantage of the solution which is already present, right? Let's move ahead with the session. Now we have seen what is startup, who is an entrepreneur, difference between startup and business. Let's try to understand why startup matters, right? There are so many problems in the world that they need to be solved. And to solve this problem, we have to think from the business perspective to it. And how we can solve this problem is just by putting or some kind of innovation to it and then create solution based on the innovation and then solve. There is another thing that why startup is important. It helps the economy. We have so much of population. If we talk just about India, we need to create more jobs so that we are employing people. And how do we do that? Is do you remember the example of the startup or the idea that I have given, the table startup, right? In which what we did is we identified a problem and then created a solution, got a funding, we scaled it up, and hired more people to serve more customers. Similarly, when the need of the business or the business starts coming in, your product starts getting recognized in the market, you would need people to do to handle the orders or the deliveries, right? So that is how the employment gets created just because you're startup. Next. it also, when you are starting up and when you are working on something, it also becomes an inspiration to others to solve real world problems. We have already seen one example, or when I asked you about who is your favorite shark, you were already giving examples of so many different sharks that you know. And why you were giving their names? Because in some way or the other, these guys have inspired you to solve the real world problem. Next. So, in short, I'll just give you I'll tell you one story which will help you to understand why and how we can create a startup just by identifying a problem. So, there was a guy in Mumbai. So he saw his father struggling with the deliveries a lot of times. Then he come up with some solution. He tied up with dabawalas of Mumbai, and then he created a startup out of it, which is Papers and Parcel, and it was founded by Tilak Mehta. Was the problem very difficult? No, but he ensured that he was vigilant enough and he was understanding that there is a problem that exists. We have to recognize the problem first. Then he came up with a solution and presented it. That is how you identify a problem, put it in the business, and start earning out of it. I'm sure that you, the reason you are a part of this problem, sorry, the reason you are a part of this program, the 8 months program that we are starting with, I'm sure that you must be having some kind of inspiration to be a part of it, right? I just want all of you guys to understand why you are here in this program and what you want to become once you get out of this program, right? I would give you 2 minutes. So just think, try to address why you are here, and put your answers in the Q&A box, and we'll restart after 2 minutes. And the timer starts now. All right. So we have quite a few answers. That means that you already given it a thought why you want to start up, right? So my next slide was already all was about why start a startup, but in a way you have already uh, answered it. So thank you so much, guys, for being present and being so clear about what you really want. Still, I'll try to put some light upon why one should start up and what he or she can get after starting a successful startup, right? So first of all, you should have some kind of passion for solving a problem. So problem solving is the skills that most of the entrepreneurs have. And if you have this skill, that itself builds a vision and brings clarity about what you are trying to build. It also happens that many a times we say that we want to work on your own terms so that we have our own desire, we have our own independence, right? When to work, when not to work. So this is the desire for independence. And also you must have seen people getting retired after starting a startup at 30, 31, 32, just because they have created enough wealth that will solve that will ensure that their future needs are taken care of. That is what the desire for independence is. However, if you are thinking that you just don't want to go in the 9 to 5 jobs, and if you have a startup, you will go to the work whenever you want and come back whenever you want to come back. No, guys, this is not true. If you are starting a startup, initially maybe you will have to work for more than 15 hours. No holiday on weekends, no public holidays. Yesterday, my friends were enjoying the national holiday of 2nd October, and I was there in my office solving my business problems. Right, all of my employees had holiday. So that is what happens. That you have to ensure that what you are actually going into, so that whenever such incidents occur or such situation comes, it does not dishearten you and keep your momentum going. Of course, the potential is there for high financial returns when someone is getting funding, and if the startup is going into an initial public offering, or it is getting acquired by a big giant. So in that case, of course, you get much more returns against what your the number of shares that you hold in the company. Then it also becomes an opportunity for you to make a global impact. The problems, remember, that you are trying to solve, if the problem is so global that you will be able to scale it to the global level just from somewhere where you're starting. So that is how it is giving you also opportunity to make a global impact. That is why one should start a startup. Now, we have seen about why to start a startup and what is the difference between startup and business, who is an entrepreneur, what is a startup, all of these things we have seen. Now, you may have seen, or when we say that, what is the startup that comes to your mind, most of the time it is a service company. Maybe Zomato, Swiggy, Blinkit, Ola, Uber, all of these are service based companies, right? So they are offering intangible service against the problem that they are solving. Uber or Ola, they are offering the taxi ride service. Then Swiggy, Zomato, they are delivering food from the restaurant to you. Porter is again delivering a good. So these are a service based startup. There is second kind of startup category, which is a product based startup, right? So what is product based startup? Is it creates and sells physical or digital product. Now let me give you an example of both physical as well as digital product, right? So what is this logo for both the, what are these two logos? One that says N and what the other says boat. So boat is already, you guys can recognize. What is this N stand for? You can type it down in the, are you getting responses? Okay, perfect. So these are the two types of products. One is digital product, which is Netflix. So what Netflix is doing, they are producing a content and then putting it on their platform, and then you are consuming it. Netflix is an original producer of the digital content. So that is a digital platform or digital product. On the other hand, boat. What is boat? You guys must be wearing something or the other of boat, or you guys have already mentioned someone from the Shark, Aman Gupta, right? So boat is a wearable brand. It is giving a physical products to the consumers. They are maybe earpods or headphones or smartwatch and so on and so forth. So many product lines boat already has. What they are doing is they have identified a market and they are doing R&D about what are the exact market needs of its consumer, and they are manufacturing it and selling it. So that is what the physical product is. That is what the physical product is. Now, in the program that is starting Bala Foundation, what you guys are going to do? You guys are also going to create a 3D product, and that you guys are going to sell. For now, though you must have heard a lot about the service product or a physical products, I want all of you to shift your focus to identifying needs that a physical product can solve. It can be any kind of product. Someone may be trying to solve a problem, just like the example of table that I have given, right? So that is the physical product. Or if you identify that there are a lot of people who find it very difficult to walk, maybe designing a stick with which will help them to walk even on the difficult surface, that will solve a problem for those who find it difficult to walk with their legs. Or maybe there are a lot of people who are into fitness, they do a lot, there are athletes, right? So athletes also suffers a lot of goes through a lot of problem while they are working out. So try to identify what they are going through and come up with a product. If I have to give you an example, those who are working out in the gym, what happens is while lifting the weight with just hands, they tend to make this hand surface rough, that eventually irritates when it starts when hands become sweaty. So what is the product that you can think of? Maybe a gloves, right? Just if you put on the hand gloves in the hand, that will reduce that will ensure that the problem will not occur, and at the same time it will also help you to create the product. These are the very simple examples of the product that I am giving you. Someone is already working on it, but if you think from different perspective, it will help you to understand what is the product, what is the challenge that people are facing, and how with the help of designing product you can solve it, right? So always for next few months your focus should be on thinking about a physical product. Next. Now we have learned a lot of jargon about startup, different concepts, and all of these things. Let's get back to the business. How actually you should build a startup? I have tried to answer it in the previous slide, but now I'll try to do it in a more structured way over here. So the first and foremost thing for any startup is to identify a problem. If you have a problem which is identified, it becomes very easy to build a product based on it. So now, once we are done with the session, what you guys can do is you start searching for a problem. You talk to your friends, start observing wherever you are. Maybe you are in the playground or in the classroom or in a family function. There are problems everywhere. You have to identify a problem and see if you can come up with a solution. If I have to give you an example, I have a habit of putting down notes uh, while I'm writing something. So if you see my notebook, it is always colorful. What used to happen is I used to carry different colors of pen. with me: red pen, blue pen, black pen, and so on and so forth. But that used to consume a lot of space in my pocket, and at the same time, it was not always ideal to carry these many pens. But then I come up with this interesting product. Can you all see? So this is an innovative product. It is solving all of my needs. It is also handy, and I can carry it wherever I can. And it is, instead of using two different pens, with just one single click, I can change the color, whichever color I want to write with. Isn't that solving a problem? Like me, there are hundreds of other individuals who faced similar problem, and with the help of this one pen, the problem is resolved. This is just an example that I am giving you how you can identify problem. Next. Now let's say, if you have identified a problem, you have to develop a minimum viable product, or an MVP. MVP is the term which you are going to come across again and again. What is an MVP? For example, again, the example of table. If you want to create a table which can be used by anyone irrespective of what their height is. Now, you won't directly go to to the uh, the factory or fabricator and directly uh, manufacture it. No, you will try to find how the prototype of that table can be created. Maybe with the help of some existing material that you may already have. You may be having some cartoons and some flat base, which you try to uh, stick together and make sure that you are creating something which is not exactly table, which looks like table, right? So that is what an MVP of a physical product is. It may not solve all the problems that table solves, but at least it should solve some of the problems that table does. That is what an MVP of the product is. For creating a physical product, this is absolutely important to have an MVP in place that will eventually decide whether your product is going into manufacturing or not. Now you have already identified a problem and developed an MVP. Next step is to give that MVP to someone who will be an end user to it. For example, you have created a table. What you will do is you will give it to three of your friends. Say one of your friend, his height is, let's say, 5 feet 5 inches. Then the other friend whose height is 5 feet 9 inches, and the other friend whose height is 6 feet. You will give this same kind of prototype or the MVP that you have created to three different friends. Now you will ask them to write on it, read on it, draw, sketch, whatever their daily activity is. You will ask them to do it on the table. Then, after using it for certain time, maybe 8 days or 10 days, this is just the figure that I am giving you. It can vary from product to product. You will get feedback from these friends on the different parameters. Maybe what is the usability of it? Were you comfortable while using it? Are there any feedbacks? Do you think the height that we have done is perfect? Or any feature that you think are missing and that we can incorporate? So this is how you identify a problem, develop MVP, get feedback from the customer, and improve in the next cycle of your product. And that is how you build. Next slide. And the final step is scaling up and grow. Now you have identified a problem, developed MVP, getting feedback from the end user, applying it, redesigning the product, making it to ensure that it is solving need of maximum users. You feel confident that you are getting more and more orders. You think about scaling the business beyond city, beyond state, beyond country. That is how you start scaling and growing up. Let's say, if you think, if you do not follow this step, what will happen? Many a times, what happens is we are so passionate about an idea, we end up and create a product. However, we put up a lot of resources, a lot of money, a lot of time into creating that product. But when it actually comes into existence, what happens is there is no buyer for this product. Why? Because you only thought that there is a need of that product in the market, but there was not a need of that product. How this could have been avoided is again with the first step. If you would have identified a problem with a proper research, talking to different people, and they would have two things would have happened. Either your idea would have been validated or not validated. If not validated, probably you would have switched to something else. Guys, this is the first time probably you are entering in the entrepreneurship journey. Do remember that idea is not just once in a lifetime thing. It's like a bus. If one idea goes, the another idea comes. Just try to understand that the idea should be able to solve a problem for that particular time frame. If it is solving problem which is 10 years ahead of the time, no, this is not the right time to solve the problem. Or if it is solving the problem which were there 10 years back, again it is not worth putting time. If I have to just give you an example of the fast or 2 day 3 day delivery of Amazon, which it came up with the maybe 7 8 10 years with its prime plan. And that was earlier because delivery used to take 8 days 10 days to reach the customer. They try to bring it to the speed of 2 days and 3 days. But now, from 2 days and 3 days, we are talking about minutes, not just hours. Zepto, Blinkit, the examples that I have given, these guys are delivering product in quick time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So where are we talking about the speed, right? If Blinkit or Zepto would have been there 10 years back, no one would have really invested in this. But now, since the traffic congestion is increasing in the city, people are wanting quick delivery, right? They don't want to wait too much to get the product. That is why these startups are booming right now. So the basic idea of telling you this is once you identify a problem, it should be able to solve the problem at this particular moment, maybe 2 years or 3 years maximum, so that whatever products that you are building, they will you will be able to scale and grow it to the level that you see. Now, there are some skills that you as an entrepreneur, you would need to succeed in the entrepreneurship. Again, just remember that this is not just for the one startup. I'm telling you, this is for your entrepreneurship journey or the professional journey that you would begin maybe after the school, right? So there are different skill sets that are required to become successful. Next, you have to be creative. You have to think, always think outside the box. Reason being, if the problem is there, everyone is trying to solve it in a traditional way. But if you try to solve it in a different way with a different approach by bringing in creativity, so that would help you. That particular skill will help you to be an entrepreneur and be a successful entrepreneur. You always have to think about a problem and a particular problem, how you can solve it. There are numerous ways in which you can improve your problem solving skills. Try to find innovative solutions uh, whenever uh, wherever you are uh, wherever you identify a problem. Again, I will give you an example. So this is a presentation pointer in which through which I can so smooth the slides with just button. I don't need to go really there and uh, press the button. So someone have thought that just with the Bluetooth receiver or RFID receiver, this problem can be solved. So someone thought of it. They put all things together, and that is how this particular tool was created. Always try to solve the problems. There are numerous ways in which you can do that. Maybe solving case studies or identifying existing businesses, how they are solving a problem, or probably playing some kind of games, maybe Sudoku or chess will help you to uh, improve upon your problem solving skills. Then, of course, resilience is equally important while you are starting up. You- Not you will not going you will not get success every day. You will not get success immediately. That is something will happen when you are starting up, when you are in the journey of entrepreneurship. But what you have to do is you have to always be open for the feedback and just bounce back whenever you experience a failure. The failure is a part and parcel of this entrepreneurial journey, but ensure that you are resilient enough that you are bouncing back, and that is not at all affecting your motivation of starting up. And of course, teamwork is something that is absolutely important. It's not that only you are going to succeed, it's with the team that you will be having in your startup. You have to ensure that you are collaborating with your team, ensuring that uh, you are what you can say, you are ensuring that everyone's strength are recognized, and accordingly they are allotted the task, so that eventually the end goal of you all is to be to get success in the startup. And with all of this skills that you will develop eventually will help you to reach there. Next. Now over here, till now we have learned about different things that comes in the startup, how to build a startup, what are the skills, the difference between business and the startup. Now there are some of the key concepts that you will come across throughout your journey as an entrepreneurship. So there are many such terms, but I try to have some of the terms which will be very essential, at least in the initial phase of the startup, and I'll try to explain them with the help of some of the examples. So the first concept of it is bootstrapping. So what is bootstrapping is, it is basically starting a business with very little or no external help or capital. When we say capital in business, it is always money. Otherwise, capital can represent the major city of a particular state, or particular state, or the country. So the capital of India is, guys. Okay. Can we see answers in the Q&A?
Yeah.
What is the capital of India?
Delhi.
Perfect. So that is just to ensure that you guys are with me. So in business, capital is always about money. So what is bootstrapping is, you are trying to fund your business, initial business needs with your own money, probably the savings that you had, some of the birthday gifts that you have received. With that, you are funding the initial needs of the businesses. That is what bootstrapping is. For example, if you are creating, again the example of table, you are creating a table. Initially, to create an MVP, what you would do is, you may have some kind of funds with you. So with those funds, you will try and get some material to ensure that your MVP is created with minimal expenditure. It might happen that while you will go to the waste or garbage store, which will give you material without paying anything, because that is the best for them, that can be useful for you initially. So that is what bootstrapping is. Then the another concept is funding. So when we say funding, funding is the fund, right, which is provided by investors or others to you, which will help your startup grow. It is uh, so as you have developed MVP, you will need some kind of funds to ensure that you are creating a better product, right? So where will that money come from? You already exhausted your saving. So that is where this funding comes into picture. Someone will give you some X amount of money, and that money you will utilize to create a product. So I think in this program as well, you are going to get some funding. They call it seed funding to ensure that what your product that you are thinking of comes into reality. Next. So that is the difference between funding and bootstrapping. With funding, it may happen that you are getting that money again. I mean, in the exchange of some kind of ownership of the company or maybe a debt. That depends time to time, or sometimes it may happen that you are just getting that money as a donation. That depends from person to person or the organization to organization how they are giving you a fund. Then uh, there is someone who we called as an angel investor. So he is the person who gives money to your business to ensure that your business is growing, and at the same time he is getting some kind of ownership of the business. For example, if I am an angel investor and you are creating a product, I see a potential to grow in the product. What I will do is I will say, hey, just take this 10,000 rupees and give me 10% ownership of the business. So what you are doing over here is you are keeping 90% of the ownership, 10% I am the owner, and against that 10%, I am giving you 10,000 rupees. Now, when a business starts getting profitable, at the same time, what will happen is, if a business makes a profit of 1 lakh rupee, out of that 1 lakh rupee, I will get 10% of the profit of my ownership. So that is what the angel investors generally do. Next. Then I told you about MVP. It is the first version of the product with most basic features that a customer can use to use and design to test the idea. So I have given you a table example of table, but let's now try to understand the example of chair. So I want to create a chair which is sturdy, which will ensure that height is also adjustable. I am able to rotate it, and at the same time, it is ergonomic. It is giving me support to my back as well as neck. But I'm not able to produce it as of now. What I will do is I'll try to create a simple chair with the help of whatever material that I can get, and it will be able to solve at least some of the basic problems. So that is what the chair which you can see on the screen. That is what we call as a minimal viable product. Next. But if you see about the full product, that is what the full product is. It is the chair which is able to rotate with the help of wheels. I am able to adjust the height. It also has feature for my back and neck support and handles for my shoulder support. So that is the difference between minimum viable product and a full product. If you guys want, you may take a screenshot of this, which will help you to design MVP whenever you are starting with the program. Can you go to the next slide? All right, pivot. Pivot is a very important term when it comes to startup, right? So it is basically changing the direction of your business when your original idea doesn't work. I hope all of you must have heard about Instagram. Have you heard about Instagram? Can we have yes or no in the chat box? Are we getting responses?
Yes, we have more than 10 responses.
So Instagram is generally used for uploading photos these days, right? And we also upload the reels and do show a lot of creativity using Instagram. But do you know this app was originally created for checking in to the different places? Someone may have given them an input that there are many things, there are maybe other competitors which are doing it, so you may change the direction of your business. So probably that is how they ended up into creating an app for uploading photos and video. There are many such apps or many such startups which had completely changed the direction in which they had started. But eventually, what is important over here is to keep the company going, keep the startup going. Some products will fail eventually, but you have to uh, take the feedback from the customer or from the market, change the direction, and then go ahead. There happens. I you once the session is over, you can think about. You can research about the different companies, maybe a known companies, and what their first product was and what they are currently selling. You will be shocked to know that these companies were selling something else, and now they are selling something else. But just because they were in the business, they were trying to get feedback from their customers. They are still there in the market. That is what pivot is there. That is what the pivot is. Whenever the product is not working in your business, you have to change the direction. Maybe think about some different product or improve on the current product, or may not go in manufacturing product only. You may go into service as well. So that is what pivoting a business. You will come across this term quite a lot of times in your entrepreneurship journey. Now, the other thing is product market fit. So, till now, we have learned about how you will identify a product and how you will manufacture it, or how you will create a business out of it. But at the same time, it is very important to know how and where you will sell your product. Just to give you an example, if if this pen, this is the pen, right? So I know this pen is required in the stationery shop. So whenever someone goes into stationery shop, this person can ask for this kind of pen. But if I think that this pen is going to solve the problem, but if I happen to sell this pen into a garage, guy, I give it to him and ask him to sell it, will my business grow? No, because I'm trying to cater to the different audience who is not at all my audience, who is not at all my target customer is. So that is why product market fit, having a product market fit is very important. Otherwise, your startup may not flourish. So try to identify a product, try to identify a market, and then sell it to that market. It will definitely ensure that your startup is flourishing. Next. Now, since you have identified problems and how you are going to sell it, it is also important to have a revenue model in place. How you are going to earn by selling it. So there are different revenue models for a product-based company. You have to come up with some kind of numbers. So let's say if again we'll go back to the example of table. So if manufacturing a table, let's say it cost me somewhere around 100 rupees, considering some other expenses and my margin. So I'll try to sell it for 150 rupees. So whatever tables that I'm going to sell, I'm going to get 50% as a profit whenever I'm selling it. This is one kind of revenue model. Now the another kind of revenue model is with the product business. You can also start service. So maybe if someone needs a table repair, you can send a carpenter to these guys and maybe start, maybe carpenter can charge 10 rupees or 50 rupees per hour. I'm just giving you just rough numbers. So that is how you can think about creating a revenue model. There are a lot of revenue models or business plans available on Google. You can check it. So that will ensure that how your business is going to get money. Next. Then again, the scalability. It always depends on the problem that you are solving. So it is basically the ability of startup to grow and serve more and more customer without needing a huge additional cost. If I have to give you an example of again Zomato and Swiggy. So these guys are present in I think more than 500 cities, and they are able to serve customers from all these cities. Why they are able to do it is they have built a product and product as in the service based product. And what they are doing is they had the basics in place. What they need to do is they need to acquire more customers, they need to have more delivery boys, and they need to have more restaurants. That's it. But their basic technology is same. So without making much changes in the technology, if you are able to serve more and more customers, that is where scalability is. Whenever you are thinking about the product, always think whether you will be able to scale that product to the next level or not. If the scalability is not there, investors may not invest in the startup. So once you understand what scalability is, you will also be able to come up with some kind of numbers about the market and all. These things probably will be covered in the following session. So this is just an overview of what scalability is. So what next? So before going ahead, I would like to give you some of the examples of uh, how scalability comes into play and what are the difference, what is the difference that it makes in the business. So all of you have heard about Zomato. So with Zomato, what you can do is every day Zomato is getting order of about 1.3 million, that is 13 lakhs from 150K restaurants. So that is the order size that Zomato is able to manage with the system, with the technology that it has built. Now, if we talk about Lenskart, again Piyush Bansal from Shark Tank, he is innovatively selling spectacles uh, to the users. So somewhere with the technology and the marketing that he is doing, somewhere he is selling about 1 lakh spectacles every month. So that, look at the scale over here. It's not that he's just selling it to one city; he's having presence in multiple city. You guys have told about Boat, Aman Gupta, Boat Wearables. Boat is selling about 6,000 units of wearables every single day. That means 4 units per minute. So that is the scale that these guys have achieved with the business that they have built. So always think if a business or the product can be scalable or not. If it is scalable, if it has that much of potential, you will surely get funding and your product will flourish in the market. Next. So, so now you have already learned about this. Now you already learned about the startup and various concepts that are there in the startup. What are the next steps that you are going to do is you need to focus on taking action. Many a times you will just try and spend some time on internet or maybe probably talking with ChatGPT, but the startup will actually start taking place when you step out of your comfort zone, go in the market, check what are the requirements in the startup, take actions. Based on the actions that you take, your result or the direction of your startup will uh, it will decide the direction of your startup. And just be persistent and keep learning. You may come across of various failures in this journey, but ensure that you're learning from this failure, you're taking and asking for feedback, be persistent, and go ahead in the journey. And again, as I said, that you will be receiving feedback, so ensure that whatever your first idea is, you are refining it based on the feedback that you are receiving, maybe from your friends or maybe from your mentors or parents or industry experts, that whoever you are going to meet with. So these are the three things that you can keep in mind. Take actions, be persistent, and keep refining your ideas. That will surely make you a successful entrepreneur. With this, I would like to conclude my today's session. Thank you so much for the opportunity. In case you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me via email or via LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, you can right now put it in the question and answer box. I'll try to answer. If not, I'll try to answer them offline. Thank you so much. You have been a great audience.